Hi candidates, and welcome to our today's learning session. The subject is Advanced Auditing and Assurance. We proceed from where we stopped in our last session. Today we are going to study the International Standards on Auditing number 200 and number 210 as they relate to audit of banks. ISA 200, ISA 200 and ISA 210. The ISA 200 is about objective and general principles governing an audit of financial statements, whereas 210 is about the terms of audit engagements. So let's first look at the ISA 200, Objective and General Principles Governing an Audit of Financial Statements. This standard states that the objective of an audit of financial statements is to enable the auditor to express an opinion whether the financial statements are prepared in all material respects in accordance with an applicable financial reporting framework. The objective of the audit of a bank's financial statements, therefore, should be conducted in accordance with the international standards on auditing. And it is to enable the auditor to express an opinion on the bank's financial statements, which are prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Therefore, candidates, the auditor's report indicates the financial reporting framework that has been used to prepare the bank's financial statements, including identifying the country of origin of the financial reporting framework when the framework is used, or when the framework is not used, or when the framework used is not, international accounting standards. So when reporting on financial statements of a bank prepared specifically for use in a country other than that under whose rules it is established, the auditor considers whether the financial statements contain appropriate disclosures about the financial reporting framework used. That is the provisions of the International Standards on Auditing number 200. All right. Objective and general principles governing an audit of financial statements. I've said that the objective of an audit of financial statements, here we are talking of general statements of all the types of businesses, including banks. The objective is for an auditor to enable an auditor to express an opinion whether the financial statements are prepared in all material respects in accordance with an applicable financial reporting framework. How about ISA 210, which is in relation to terms of audit engagement? ISA 210, terms of audit engagement. Terms of audit engagements. Terms of audit engagements. Candidates, the engagement letter documents and confirms the auditor's acceptance of the appointment. All right? That's number one. The point is that the engagement letter does what? Documents and confirms the auditor's acceptance of the appointment. The letter also documents the objective and the scope of the audit, number two. Number three, the letter documents the extent of the auditor's responsibility to the client and the form of any reports. Therefore, candidates, in considering the objective and the scope of the audit and the extent of the responsibilities, the auditor considers his own skills and competence and those of his assistants to conduct the engagement. And in doing so, the auditor considers certain factors, such as, one, the use and source of specialized accounting principles with particular reference to number one, any requirements contained in the law or regulations applicable to banks. Number two, pronouncements of the banking supervisory and other regulatory authorities. Three, pronouncements of relevant professional accounting bodies. For example, the International Accounting Standards Board. Four, the pronouncements of the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. And finally, number five, industry practice. So when issuing an engagement letter, apart from the provisions of ISA 210 on terms of audit engagements, there are other factors that the auditor needs to put into consideration. So I've mentioned one of the factors, and this is the use and the source of specialized accounting principles with the particular reference to the five aspects that I've mentioned. Then number two is the contents. The auditor should consider the contents and the form of the auditor's report on the financial statements and any special purpose reports required from the auditor in addition to the report on the financial statements. And this includes whether such reports refer to the application of regulatory or other special purpose accounting principles or describe procedures undertaken especially to meet regulatory requirements. Then number three, the nature and any special communication requirements or protocols that may exist between the auditor and the banking supervisory or other regulatory authorities like the central bank. Then number four, we have the access that bank supervisors will be granted to the auditor's working papers when such access is required by the law, and the bank's advance consent to the access. So those are some of the factors that the bank auditor should consider when issuing an audit engagement letter. And that effectively brings to conclusion of our today's lesson, where we've considered two aspects, that is the ISA 200 and ISA 210, the terms of audit engagements. In our next session, we'll commence our study on the audit plan of a bank, audit planning when carrying out the audit of a bank. Thank you and God bless you.